Welcome to the Minimalist Educator Podcast, a podcast about paring down to refocus on the purpose and priorities in our roles, with co-hosts and co-authors of the Minimalist Teacher book, Tammy Borneman and Christine Arnold.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Minimalist Educator Podcast. How are you today, Tammy?
I am doing well, Christine. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Today, you and I are just going to have a short chat to preview our next season of the podcast. So exciting to think back on the first season and also look ahead at what we've got coming up for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tammy, after we've finished our first block of podcasts, do you have any takeaways, any thoughts after finishing that first season?
Yeah, I was really excited to have this podcast with you anyways.
Yes, absolutely.
I was just excited that you were excited to do this kind of adventure, and you and I embarked on this because we just love talking to people about ideas in education related to, minimalism, but not just that, like effectiveness and finding the joy in what we're doing and being the best that we can be, which all fits under that umbrella that we have written about. But I've just been excited to have talked to so many people that we have. Like, we're wrapping up 40 episodes basically, and it's been a lot of fun to just talk to so many people in different roles and different places. And, we've talked to people from like the East Coast all the way to Tokyo, Japan, which has been lots of fun, and a few people in Europe. And yeah, it's just been super exciting. Have you had like a favorite conversation in our recording so far, or?
Well, that's really tricky. I definitely agree with you about the great conversations. As I was editing, especially the highlights and going through all the pair down pointers of all the different guests that we've had, and just such great pearls of wisdom, and just made me remember all of the great chats and conversations we had about so many different topics, but all around education and minimalism and what we can be doing better and more effectively in our practice. So it was definitely a nice little perk to be able to go back and re-listen at the end of the first season. But as far as a favorite episode, that's too hard, Tammy.
Yeah, it is. I know.
Like
that's
picking
an unfair question.
Favorite child question.
Yeah, I know. It's an unfair question. Sorry.
It is, for sure. But I'm very excited about this new season that we've got coming up. We've already recorded a whole bunch of episodes, and I'm very excited for everyone to listen into more episodes that are coming up.
Yeah, we've got some really interesting people. It was exciting to talk to Dan Tricarico, who wrote the Zen Teacher book, as well as a few other books on the topic of just finding Zen in places in your life. He's always great to chat with. And then we talked with Julia Skolnick, who is deep into brain science and learning, the science of learning, and talking about why less is more is just so important in our lives.
I could have talked to her all day. That was such a great chat.
Yeah, she is just so interesting and so deep in her work that it's like you just feel the passion. I love it. I love talking to her. I really liked talking to Jessica when we were talking about like the tiered to-dos. That was super interesting. Like just hearing how people manage their lists and calendars and trying to just manage all of the tasks, especially when you're in like a district role and you have a lot of people and tasks to manage. That it's helpful to hear kind of the behind the scenes for how people stay organized, because we all need that in the roles that we're in, whatever, whether you're a teacher, TA, or principal, we all need those kind of strategies to keep us sane. So that was great. I like talking to Nicole always, of course. She's been working with first-year teachers and just like the things that absorb their minds at that stage in their career versus like how they're probably going to feel in a few years, and just hearing all of those stories of things that you can get stuck on, which we all did, right, early in our careers, and take up our time and our thought processes. But knowing that later you don't worry about those same things because, it's minutia later on. But yeah, we've just had so many great episodes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for people to listen into the couple of conversations we had with Sheila Kennedy and Ming Shelby, and thinking about, all of that positive psychology stuff, and thinking about candor and courage that we were talking about with Ming. I think everyone's going to find that really interesting to hear these different ideas about mindset and psychology, and how we can really take charge of these things and enjoy ourselves a little bit more in the work that we do. So I'm really excited for everyone to hear those conversations.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We've also talked about a few things, book related, and got a little deeper into scarcity mindset and where that kind of can stem from. And we also talked about building teacher capacity. In schools, we want to make sure teachers have the ability to do things well and help them get into those places. So that was a great conversation that we had. It's always nice just to chat with you, as usual.
Of course, yes.
we can talk for hours about things. But yeah, I think our listeners will enjoy the guests that we've had and the conversations that we've had this season, because again, just like really passionate people about what they're doing, really they just are experts in their area, and it's just great to talk to them.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting some amazing PD by doing this podcast and having these chats with people. And yes, it is always lovely just to chat with you, Tammy.
No, but it's been great recording these episodes, and I look forward to the next season.
Yeah, me too. So stay tuned, everyone, and we look forward to sharing them with you.
Be sure to join Tammy and Christine and guests for more episodes of the Minimalist Educator podcast. They would love to hear about your journey with minimalism. Connect with them at PlanZPLS on Twitter or Instagram. The music for the podcast has been written and performed by Gaia Moretti.